It being 6:34 on October 7th, 2020, I will call the planning board meeting to order. And due to the current COVID-19 pandemic, the governor has issued Emergency Order 12 that waives the location requirement of public officials at a public meeting. This meeting will be conducted electronically. We encourage members of the public to join our meeting anytime via our Zoom connection, which was on the agenda on the calendar on the town website. Okay, I think it's going to be just the three of us tonight.
Okay.
Roll call present, Kathleen DeWolf.
Present.
Paula Hancock.
Present.
And Martine Badger present. We'll do the minutes of September 23rd. Any changes?
I didn't get any
I
revised
didn't get any minutes.
You didn't get them either?
No.
No.
Okay, we will postpone those to the next meeting.
Okay.
They must not have been sent out. Okay. Okay, just making a note. And did you all get a copy of the home occupation application?
Yes, I got that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't we do that? We'll take care of that. This is a home occupation application for Jonathan and Deborah Lust, L-U-S-T, at 173 River Street in Ashland. The tax map lot number is 013-001-007. And it is for home occupation. Name of the business is Squam River Specialties, LLC. They have a variety of, reading a lot of this for benefit of the public, anyone who's listening to the video. They sell a variety of homemade items, from jams and jellies to birdhouses to baby quilts. Sell it out of a small shed or little accessory building on the lot, and that accessory building is only about 5 feet by 9 feet. Okay. On the application with all the criteria, all of those criteria were checked. And these are the criteria that are in the zoning ordinance. Let's see, there was a little diagram attached showing the location of the lot and where the small accessory building is. Anybody see anything that they're missing, that the application is missing?
The only thing she asked was she didn't know how to get a sign permit.
Okay, and we will communicate that to her. That'll be through the town office. Yes.
I don't think we need any, I don't think we need life safety, the police department, or the health officer to do an inspection.
No, I don't think we need anything there.
So it was just the sign.
Yeah.
Everything else they filled in?
Yes. Everything looks good. Paula, do you have any questions on it?
No. I looked at the location of the shed on their diagram, and I know the residence is on River Street, but for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how they got access to the shed to pick everything up.
There's actually two parts to the driveway.
Oh, okay.
And the lower, as you look at the diagram, the lower portion, there's a wide angled piece that narrows into the property. That's part of the driveway, and then another part of the driveway goes to the right.
Actually, I
Okay.
believe that's the path that provides a right of way to the water, to some of the homes that are on the other side of the road.
Okay, okay.
And
But
that
it's
shed was the only thing there when they purchased the lot and built their residence,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
yeah. But as you're driving by on River Street, if you look right straight in from their driveway entrance, you see this small little shed.
I see
Right
the
there.
shed.
Yep.
I just
Yeah.
I think I was looking at it from the other end, and it didn't go through
Okay.
to River Street. But now that you pointed out how I'm supposed to be looking, it makes sense.
It's sometimes tricky reading some of these surveyed plans. There's
Hold them upside down.
There's a lot of information on them, and sometimes you have to sort out what you need to look at the moment. Okay, I will accept a motion to approve this home application.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, roll call vote to approve the home occupation application. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Paula Hancock,
Aye.
and Mardine Badger, aye. Okay, so we will communicate with them that it's approved, and we will give them the information needed for the sign application. And that is that.
So that was our first entity to use.
Under the first one under the new, the revised home occupation
And
criteria.
And the letter that we drafted to.
Yes, it is.
People.
Yes, yes.
So it appeared
Yes.
that there were no issues with that. And
No, and
they did what they needed to do. And
yeah, we thank them very much for following through.
yes.
Thank you. That took care of that. Okay, let's jump to, did everybody get the updated versions of the two application forms?
Yes.
Okay. One for the site plan review and one for subdivision. Anyone see anything that we missed?
I don't recall what the other ones, unless I have them side by side.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
It was primarily, there were all small things.
Yeah. I was. I raised the question about land that is in conservation or current use. There's no tab for that on the
Under the property zone.
yeah.
That's not a zone. That's just
those. I think those categories are more for tax assessment uses, or they're not a real. They're not an overlay zone or a regular zone. They are.
if they're going to do a subdivision on them, they'll have to take it out of current use.
Yeah.
Which is a taxation.
Yeah, but I know the current use has to do with taxation and assessment category. The conservation use probably also does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those really don't. Those
they don't apply here.
No, they don't. No.
Not as a property zone. No.
No. There will be times when we're talking about maybe use of a property where those may come into play, but not for categorizing what is allowed or not allowed in a particular zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, but good question. There were minor changes. We fixed. Let's see. We deleted location of the meetings. We fixed.
That's right. That was
on
something.
the subdivision application. We fixed the time of the meetings. Couple places we changed applicant to owner. Minor things. Yeah.
That seems to be something that people miss.
Yes. we need to officially adopt these revised applications. So I would accept a motion. We can do both at the same time to accept the revised application forms for site plan review and for subdivision.
Go ahead, Paula, I'll let you do this one and I'll.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept both applications, site
Okay.
plan review and subdivision.
Okay.
That.
All right. And seconded by Kathleen. Roll call vote again. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Paula Hancock,
Aye.
and Mardine Badger. Aye. Approved. So what we'll do now is we let the town clerk know that we have changed those applications and they will become official.
And then you will post them on the website, Marty?
Yes, I will update them on the website. Yes. Okay. What else do we need to do? Done that. Done that. I don't really have any update on the excavation regulations. They still need to be sent out to Susan Slack for review.
Okay.
Our draft. Yep.
Okay.
Have you sent them to her yet?
No, I don't think they've gone out yet. I don't think they have. Let's see, a couple other little things. Paula brought up, she was looking ahead at our calendar and made a good point on our November schedule. The second meeting in November, which is the fourth Wednesday in November, is the day before Thanksgiving. So we have two options, either cancel that meeting or shift it. But I think it's important to note that our first meeting of December is the following week. So I would recommend that we cancel that meeting. What do people think?
Well, I have no plan, so.
I have no plans either, but I can see both sides of it.
Yeah, I would say let's cancel it. If anything comes up that absolutely has to be dealt with by then, we will consider. But as I said, we do have a meeting the following week, exactly the following week.
Yes.
Yeah. So it will not add it will not extend the time a great deal between meetings.
Do we have anything coming up in November of great import for the planning board that you know of?
Not that I know of at this point.
Okay.
Not that I know of. The other option that I could suggest would be shift that meeting up 1 week onto the third Wednesday.
Well,
I don't know.
we would know by the beginning of the month if we probably had something that we probably feel
Yes.
that we should address before December.
Yes.
And we'll have time to notice it.
Yeah. I would say by the end of October, we'll know if there's anything crucial that comes up that we have to put a meeting in. But at this point, let's cancel the November 25th meeting. So we'll do that. Okay. I'll just make a note on the calendar on the website. That's done. Sometime within the next couple of weeks, I think we'll begin looking at dates. We'll have to start looking at the 2021 calendar. I'll go through and figure out the first and fourth Wednesdays of each month and see if there are any conflicts. And then we'll look at it. Then we'll make a draft and we'll look at it to see if there is any issue. I always go through, first I mark the first and fourth Wednesday of every month. Then I go back and see, does it hit any holidays? Does it hit any required days off by the town or any other issue? So then we'll go from there.
Marty, we aren't going to have any warrant articles this year, are we?
No, I don't think so.
So we wouldn't have to have public hearings.
Yeah.
Schedule
Yeah,
public
so that
hearings.
will help. Yeah. Because for instance, the excavation regulations, we as a planning board approve those, do not have to go to a warrant article. There are some other things that, as we just did with the application forms, those are approved by our board, do not have to go to a warrant article. So it's looking like there will be no warrant articles from us this year.
What about submission and approval of the 2021 budget?
Marty's presented
That was presented to the select board.
last week.
Last week? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I will send
In other
out.
words, bed done.
Yeah, I will send out I will make sure everybody has a copy of what we presented. That does not mean it may not change. It still has to go through final vote of the select board and discussion and review and vote by the budget committee. So it could change between now and budget process. We don't know. Okay. There are a couple little correspondence items over the last week or so that may come up. One has to do with a lot on River Street that actually has two pieces to it. The primary portion of the lot is on the side of the road across from the river. But there is another piece, there is a shorefront portion of the lot, which is small, which is not a buildable piece.
It's a non-conforming, non-buildable.
Yes, non-buildable, but it's joined to the primary portion across the street. An attorney for the current owner has asked if it's possible to sell the primary portion and the current owner retain that small piece on the waterfront, on the shorefront. Something we'll have to look at. We'll have to look at.
He's looking for a subdivision?
They actually have two different lot numbers,
Yeah.
but they are joined.
Oh.
Two different lot numbers, but they're joined.
No, they abut each other.
No, they don't. Well, yes, if you eliminate the road there, in a sense, they abut each other.
Okay, it's his back house, and then he has two lots across the street.
No, actually, there's the small shorefront piece, and then across the street is the major portion of the lot is the buildable lot.
I'm stumbling over the word joined. If they're on opposite sides of the road, how are they joined?
They are joined as far as ownership right now.
Yeah, that's not the right term.
And there is I think there is a legal term that they are joined to each other, even though they're not.
But it's through ownership.
Yes.
The one owner owns both pieces.
And probably in the deed also it might mention that. I'm not sure. So we've got to figure out whether that is possible, whether it'll be a planning board or zoning board issue. But we'll look at it.
That could be a lot line adjustment since it's the same owner.
Yeah. Well, he wants to sell the one piece. He wants to sell the big piece and keep the little piece. So it's, yeah, we may have to look at some few legalities and figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the email's a little confusing.
Yeah. Well, I've got
that they weren't using the right terms to identify the lots.
Yeah. Well, I've got the correct lot numbers. So I found them on the map. So we'll have to look at that more. Not gonna make any decisions tonight. And another piece of correspondence from John Glidden in the Mill area. He owns minus 33, which is a portion of the old mill area on Mill Street. He is considering buying the Scribner building, which is the brick building down there in the mill, on Mill Street, he wants to buy that from Andrew Lane. So whether that is a
What's the name of the building?
Scribner building, Scribner building.
Oh, okay.
That is part of a larger lot owned by Andrew Lane.
Mm-hmm.
But John Glidden wants to buy just that one piece of it. So whether it's a subdivision of lanes or a lot line adjustment of Glidden going, again, that's something we've got to look at and figure out which is the best way to do that. So those are two things that will probably be coming down the pipeline. Those, and tomorrow night is the zoning board meeting for the first step in the excavation site up at the end of West Street. So we'll just wait and see what happens. And as I said, it's only the first step. It will not include the public hearing yet. That will be in the November meeting. So,
okay. You have here notice of regional impact from Town of Lincoln.
Yes. And I don't have a copy of it with me, but we received a notice from the Town of Lincoln, from the planning board. They are considering, there's a proposal to put a cell tower up, and the Town of Lincoln determined that it did meet the criteria of regional impact for them. Yeah. And so they have notified, along with all various abutters and professionals and so on that they have notified, they have also notified all municipalities within a 20-mile radius of the location. So we received that notice. I don't know that it's going to impact anybody here.
Well, it depends where it is, and
yeah.
It could impact somebody that lives at a higher elevation in parts of town.
Right, and it may impact someone closer to them as far as visibility. I'm not sure quite really where it is.
Probably a view shed.
It might be, yes. Yes, but okay, so we'll take a look at that. I don't know that we'll have a response. Don't know with that distance. We'll have to look at, I'm not sure what the location is.
Mm-hmm.
Plymouth sent one when Market Basket was in the initial stages. It was the select board that was requested to respond.
Mm-hmm. Actually, their notices to the municipalities were just addressed to Town of Ashland, town of each of the individual towns. It wasn't addressed specifically to planning board or select board. It was just the Town of.
And that issue was night sky lights.
Oh, for the Market Basket, that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I forgot to double check with you, Kathleen. Do you want to go through some of the DES stuff?
I started to do this this afternoon.
Or do you want to delay?
I had a chat with Susan, and she agreed with me. When we can get to the water and sewer department meeting room, we could be able to put the site right up on the TV and scroll through it.
Okay.
Otherwise, everything is point and click.
Okay.
So with Paula can't.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. It would work out much better there. Yes.
Most of it doesn't affect us.
No.
Unless it was a subdivision, it's because our setbacks are just as strong, are stronger actually than the state.
Okay.
Most of it is more of a building permit concern that people.
Right. Okay.
Because they got permission from DES, it doesn't mean they can just go ahead and start building without a building permit, because we have some more stringent regulations that have to be followed.
Okay, so most of those would apply more to building permits rather than any.
Or if it affects the road, then it'd be a ZBA issue.
Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Matter of fact, when I checked it this afternoon, this was the name we couldn't remember when we discussed. 316 Scenic View Drive, Benton. They received a exception waiver from DES to build up against. They couldn't meet the setback from Route 3.
Okay.
They're the ones that had the privy. Does that ring a bell, Marty?
No.
They abut the shop's property.
Okay.
They're looking to change their driveway and put on a driveway and a garage and a leach field.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know where they plan on putting it on their property. It's still under review at DES.
Okay. But that won't impact the plan.
Although it affected, it could be the ZBA. They might.
Right. Okay.
They might have a setback issue.
Okay. Well, that's, yeah. So when we've got access to the meeting room and display capability, we can look at.
Put the DES site right up there, and then we can just
Okay.
go through the whole thing. Like I said, everything you have to point at it, click, and then open up.
Okay. So we won't do anything with that.
Yeah, the alteration of terrain mostly is stormwater management.
Okay.
There is a 20-year-old document still under alteration of terrain on revegetating sites, which was interesting. Little old, but they say what kind of grass, how to secure the excavated area. But stormwater and wellhead protection, aquifer protection, setbacks from prime not prime, just wetlands and prime wetland and any regulated water body that's under the purview of the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Okay.
Usually it's water issues. It's water issues. I think wet.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wait on anything else on that if we need it.
We might be busy in November.
Yes, we might. One question that Paula sent me, and I think it's a good question to review. She was asking about, and I want to keep it general, not related to any specific proposal. Her question was, how do people who are not direct abutters have an opportunity to make comments at a public hearing for any case? And good question, Paula. And I think it's something.
Yeah, and as I say, I was keeping it general, but
yes.
I'm looking not just with the abutters, but the neighborhood.
Yes.
As a quote community.
Right. Yes. When an application comes to the planning board, obviously the date is set for when the planning board accepts the application and has the public hearing for that. The notice of the public hearing is sent to all of the official abutters. The official definition, those whose property touch on the property in question. And that official notice also goes to any of the professionals involved in preparing the proposal, the engineers, the surveyors, etc. So that's the official piece. Those are the people who get the official notification. Also keep in mind though, the notice is put in the newspaper and the notice is also posted at the town hall and on the town website. So others in the neighborhood or community who may not be direct abutters to that property do get noticed, but not through a an individual notice to them in the mail, as the abutters do. When it comes to the actual public hearing, there is a normal order of information gathering, and it generally goes such as this. The applicant presents their case. The abutters who are in favor of the project are allowed to speak. Those who oppose, those abutters who are opposed to the project are allowed to speak. All along, if there are also questions that the planning board has, they are also allowed to ask questions. And anyone else who feels that they are going to be impacted by that particular project or application are allowed to speak. So they do have the opportunity at the public hearing to speak, even if they are not direct abutters. They just don't get the individual certified mail notification prior to the public hearing as the official butters do. So it is important, I think, that people do watch for postings of meetings. Planning board, we post our meetings in the post office. We post them on the bulletin board in the front of the town hall. They're also posted on the website, on the calendar, and I generally attach on the calendar, on the event, I attach the agenda, and if there's an official notice, I will also attach that. So there is enough notification out there. They do have the opportunity at the public hearing to speak.
It's a regional impact issue. Anybody that is affected regionally would have a chance to have input.
Yes, they would. Yes. In the public hearing, obviously the abutters do have the first opportunity to state their opinions and their viewpoints, but anyone else that feels during the public hearing, anyone else that feels that they have an interest or have some impact based on that particular proposed project is allowed to speak and express their opinion.
That answers my question.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the applications that I reviewed, and it just looked like they were somehow not included. But from your explanation, they are included. They just need to pay attention to where our various meetings are posted.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Marty, people can send in testimonials too, can't they? Writing letters?
Yes, absolutely. If someone cannot attend the public hearing, whether they're an abutter or just an interested party, they can email or mail their input, their questions, their concerns. So we do accept written testimony also. Okay. That's all part of the process. And in our planning board rules of procedure, the what I just explained is in there as far as the abutters and other parties that are that have an interest in the project are allowed to speak. So that's in our rules of procedure.
Okay.
And I think it's very important that people do watch for what cases we do have. We do want to hear from people that are interested in things, that do have opinions and do have input. It should all be considered.
Yes, yes. I think what you've explained is covers them. In other words, they're accepted at the table, and they have many avenues to use to get their concerns before the board.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we invite people anytime to attend our meetings, whether there's a particular case on the agenda or not. We invite them to attend our virtual meetings, or if we eventually go back to in-person meetings, they're invited to attend those meetings also.
Okay.
Any other business? Any other concerns?
Just for a moment for the ZBA meeting tomorrow night.
Yes.
They're going to, the project at the end of West Street is going to make a same presentation to the ZBA board tomorrow night that they made to us.
Similar. It will be a very general, what we are doing tomorrow night for the zoning board for that particular case, we are first determining regional impact. That's the first thing the zoning board has to do. They have to determine whether this particular proposed project will have impact on surrounding communities. And if that is determined, they identify which communities or municipalities are likely to be impacted. And then the second step that will be done tomorrow night, the ZBA will determine whether the application is complete and complete in order to accept it. The public hearing is not going to be tomorrow night. And the notices that were sent out, the public hearing is going to be at the November ZBA meeting, which I believe is November 12th.
Okay.
The reason why the public hearing cannot be tomorrow night is because if regional impact is determined, the municipalities must be notified at least 14 days in advance of the public hearing. So until we identify if any municipalities will be impacted, we can't have the public hearing that same night because they need that advance notice. So,
okay.
And eventually that, depending on the whole process with the zoning board, it would be probably a couple meetings, 2 meetings at the minimum. Eventually that project, depending on the ZBA determination, it may then come to the planning board. And we won't know the schedule on that until we know what occurs through the zoning board.
Right. I was just clarifying in my own mind what the ZBA meeting would include, just a refresher of what it would include and when it would be, and you've covered that, so I'm all set.
So it just, if anyone is listening to this, as I said, the public hearing for that particular case at the ZBA will not be tomorrow night. It will be in November. Okay. I don't have anything else.
Nothing for me.
Okay.
I just noticed this little sidebar you have over here that says mute me and raise hand. I've never seen that when we've done our select board meetings. It says participants 3, and it has me, you, Paula, down the bottom. It says invite, mute me, and raise hand.
That's the list of participants. Yes.
You would have to click that on.
Yes.
In order to see that.
Yes.
Still learning about this.
Okay. I always have I always had the list of participants showing on the side of my screen. That's how I know when someone is waiting to be admitted.
Such a good host, Marty.
Yeah.
Hostess.
Okay. All right. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
At 7:13.
And I'll second that.
Okay. And we are adjourned.